the biggest concern right now. Savannah is having problems getting federal funds required to dredge. Charleston says they already have it. But at the end of the day, you can see that there will be in the East Coast 4 principal areas. And most likely, and this is what we've heard also from the carriers, they will be calling at least 2 ports. Possibly 3, but most likely only 2 ports. Now, there is an impact that the expansion also has. It's not only in origin, it's also in destination. And you can see that by expanding the canal, we're also extending the canal's area of influence in Asia. And I include now further shadow here, the one that represents the other line that moved, and you can see the Gulf. So the big question mark, and I'm not here to tell you what you can do or you cannot do, but there is a possibility to take advantage of the potential of the expansion brings. And that has to do mainly with local decision making and local policy and local studies and analysis. And I'm happy to hear that there is an interest in the center to engage in some of this research. And we're very willing to collaborate with you so that you can also bring in some of those answers to your stakeholders. But a parenthesis, everything is not the U.S. This is the front cover of The Economist, came out last September. And it's really looking at the way that economy is shaping, especially in the emerging economy. And you can see the rate of growth in Latin America as having been consistent even during the crisis. And all the projections right now are that they will continue to move ahead. You can see here in the red is of course Far East. Everybody knows that they'll continue growing. But then second there you see South America. And that is very important, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then also Central America, the Caribbean is in light blue. So as we look ahead, we're not only looking at the U.S. as the principal user of the canal, we're also looking at where is it that South America and Latin America in general fit. And also with trade with the U.S. So there is a whole area of research that I recommend you move into, that is the trade with Latin America. Is it either from the East Coast that would require a canal, or is it from the West Coast that would be used in the expanded canal? And the reason I say that is because if we go back to transportation economics 101, traditionally, this is the equation. The longer distances with high density, you use the larger vehicles, and the short distances with low density, the small vehicles. I mean, this is hub and spoke. When you put a map in there, and you can see the map already is representing what is happening. So if we are able now to move larger vessels through the canal, well, this is going to be even more so. You can tell by looking at all the ports that are close to Panama, and how, if you look at their draft, if you look at their limitations, for sure they're going to be feeding or feedering from or to Panama. But what that means is that there is also going to be a lot more short sea shipping that will actually be moving all the way from the west coast of Central and South America, as well as the East Coast. In particular, in the case of Panama, we figure that it goes only all the way to Recife. Recife is actually at the corner of Brazil. So anything south of Recife is really not part of what we say our hinterland. But when you are taking into account that most of Brazil's development is geared towards the northeast, you know, moving cargo coming, for instance, from the Mato Grosso, or coming from the mines, the iron ore, to the northeast, well, that is cargo that is most likely going to go through the Panama Canal. Which brings us to another segment of the market that is usually not talked about a lot, and that is the dry bulk. The dry bulks are also going to benefit from the larger vessel and the deeper draft. You can see here the new Panamas for the new locks. And what that will do is, for instance, what are the dry bulks that move through Panama? Grain, a lot of grain coming from the Midwest, coming through the Mississippi River by barge and going out by South Louisiana, and also moving then by ship to Asia. And at the same time, there is also coal. Coal is also one of those beneficiaries that we're looking at for the expanded canal by having the ability to move the cargo in larger vessels. But also iron ore and coal from South America. And this is a very interesting new demand that we were not taking into account when we designed the expansion. And the reason we were not taking that into account is because the trade was not there. Now, as we've seen, China has entered into partnership with some of these natural resource mining and development, and what is happening there is that there is now potential growth of those trades from Colombia, from Venezuela, with China. And I mentioned that the deepest draft that we have in the new block is 50 feet. Well, most of capesizes can really draw a lot more water. So one of the things that they've already talked to us about is the possibility to do topping off. Bring a capesize, maybe 75% full, transiting, and then bring in a Panamax or another capesize, and then doing the topping off on the other side to continue the long haul, fully laden in the larger ship. Another segment of the market that will benefit also is tankers, and this is something that you also, I encourage you to analyze and study with regard to Houston as one of the principal gateways for liquid bulk. As we see, the expanded canal will improve the competitiveness of Ecuadorian oil moving to U.S. Gulf, and also new trades from Venezuela that could also now start using going to Asia. But an important segment that we also did not take into account when we designed the new law was LNG. LNG in the last 5 years has really grown dramatically in terms of potential. And they are one of those segments that move almost everything in post-Panama vessels. So as you can see, we are right now in the process of reviewing and revising all of our estimates, all of our forecasts, because all of these things have really evolved very much recently. The LNG vessel, again, I'm leaving the presentations for you to also maybe use some of the data that is there that may not be that important to explore right now. Now, what we're doing in Panama, and this is just advertisement, but we're not only looking at the expansion as an added value to the transiting capability of the canal, but also as an added value to the rest of the conglomerate or the cluster that we have built around the canal. And that includes all the marine services and all the services to cargo. And that really is what we are seeing as what will become more competitive in the global economy as far as Panama is concerned. So we are really looking at the project as a whole, and not only as a way to get more money or business for the canal. Now, this is something that I've also added as an advertisement, because I know that your work has a lot to do. This is the testimony of Mr. Doug Oberherman, how to pronounce it, Chairman and CEO of Caterpillar,